Hi, it's Adam here. And if you've ever lost a pet, particularly a pet that you just spent a lot of time with and was there in a time of need and companionship, then this hypnosis session you will certainly be able to relate to. I was working with a client who had a pet cat. The cat's name was Felix, and Felix died. And the cat died during a period of time where the client that I was working with was very, very busy completing a project. And they had feelings of clearly grief, but also regret and perhaps even guilt connected to could they have done more? Should they have done more? And this became a ruminating thought, which wasn't fair. All of the feedback that they'd had from the likes of a vet and an analysis of what happened told them that this was a cat dying of natural causes, but part of their mind was wondering, ruminating, could they have done more? And that's really the essence of this hypnosis session. Partly it's a grief hypnosis session, but more than that, it's a way of reframing how they were thinking about their cat to think of how else do they also think in this way of could they have done more? Should they have done more? Are they responsible for the actions of other people? And they could relate to that. They could find different parts of their life where they held themselves to blame, even though it had really nothing to do with them. And that's the essence of this. It's turning that internal witch trial, this witch hunt that was taking place in their head, into something much more useful. Also, this particular client could think of someone that had high standards, really did learn from experiences to become more competent and more proficient, but without blaming and shaming and carrying around guilt. So we actually harnessed this as an internal role model and accessed that part, that archetype within themselves so that they could move forward without feeling like they have to hold on to the baggage of the past. This is a grief and almost internal ruminating intrusive thought hypnosis session, but it's also more than that. It's a way of letting go of those things that don't serve you and moving on from an identity that is actually may have good intentions but actually holding you back. The session itself was created for an individual. It's unlikely that you have a recently deceased cat called Felix, for example, but the essence of the hypnosis session I think would apply to many more people than just that unique circumstance. That said, if you do like the idea of a bespoke session working directly with me, have a look in the description for a link that will take you to a place where you can book a free consultation call. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath of relaxation, and as you exhale, that's it, just allow your eyelids to close, and as they close, feel the heaviness of those eyelids, giving you a sense of releasing tension, stress, and any worries. And when you breathe in, allow yourself to breathe in just a little bit deeper than the breath before, as you start to activate your diaphragm. Not just breathing from the chest, but breathing deeper down. And the deeper you breathe, the more breath you have in your lungs, so that as you exhale, that outward breath will also be longer. Elongate the outward breath. And I want you to imagine a candle maybe 2 meters in front of you. As you breathe out, just imagine breathing out toward that candle until you can imagine it flickering. until your lungs are completely empty. Nothing else left. And only then, taking the next breath in. But a breath of pure, distilled, concentrated relaxation. Breathing in that relaxation and exhaling any tension. And you can consider the process of breathing like an emotional transfusion. Breathing in the resources you need and exhaling those heavy emotions you've been holding on to. Any guilt, any shame, any stress, any sadness, just allow those emotions to feel like they're leaving your body in that outward breath. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And I want you to imagine a particular couch. And on that couch, I want you to see a familiar face, a furry face. I want you to see that cat of yours there, relaxing on the couch. But this is just your imagination. And in your imagination, things that aren't possible in reality are certainly possible within the infinite possibilities of your unconscious. And I want you to imagine how it would feel to sit there on the couch and to imagine the sensation of feeling the fur as you stroke, perhaps starting at the top of the head downwards. That gentle caress, that soothing motion. And maybe you can imagine hearing some purring, the purrs of satisfaction, complete trust and relaxation. That's it. And the sound of the purrs, the breathing, takes you even deeper relaxed. I want you to imagine that this isn't your cat. It's your unconscious representation of your cat. And let's give your cat a voice so that you could imagine you can communicate and your cat can respond. I want you to start with sharing all of the wonderful ways in which your cat Felix made you feel happy, grateful, the impact that Felix had on your life. Just imagine as you stroke Felix sharing these feelings. Maybe Felix was a companion there in difficult times. Maybe Felix did funny things that made you smile. I want you to share deeply all the ways that you can be grateful that Felix positively influenced your life. And once you've done that, let me know by nodding your head. And then I want you to imagine Felix reciprocates. I want you to imagine Felix starts sharing with you all the ways in which you enriched Felix's life. Imagine the voice that, if Felix had a voice, would talk in. Maybe Felix is talking about the love you shared, affection, thoughtfulness. But when you needed, Felix was there for you, and when Felix needed, you were there for Felix. This was a relationship that was mutually beneficial. So imagine hearing directly from Felix all the ways in which Felix was grateful for you. And when Felix has shared those thoughts, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to share something that if there was any regrets, any feelings that you could have done more, I want you to articulate that to Felix now. And maybe it's that you wished you could have given a bit more attention and consideration in those last days when Felix was alive. But I want you to imagine Felix responds with a different perspective. Hear the words from Felix, perhaps telling you he had more than enough water and was sleepy because he wasn't very well. Maybe Felix is telling you that there's nothing you could have done differently that would have changed things. Or that Felix was just happy that you were around. And with every word, I want you to feel that any sadness or guilt is leaving your body, just melting away. I want you to imagine Felix now climbs up, just sits on your lap, and purrs, letting you know that the love, the trust is implicit. That Felix felt comfortable, and there was no other place that Felix wanted to be. And I want you to think, while Felix is sleeping on your lap, about a courtroom. Just imagine an official courtroom with a judge, a jury, a witness stand. And I want you to see how you've put yourself on trial for a crime you didn't commit. And I want you to see that you yourself are on trial, but also you yourself are the prosecution. And I want you to see that there is an absence of any defense. And when someone is put on trial, and that trial has no defense. And the person on trial is going to be found guilty no matter what evidence is submitted. Quite often that is known as a sham trial or a witch hunt. That whatever happens, they will be found guilty. And I want you to get a sense that just because you felt sad at the losing of a precious pet doesn't mean someone needs to be found guilty. Sometimes there can just be gratitude and acceptance. I want you to imagine we change the courtroom into a panel of investigation. I want you to imagine a vet is there, Felix is there. I want you to imagine that all the evidence is there. And the purpose is not to find blame, not for repercussions or punishment, but just to extract wisdom. And maybe that wisdom is to appreciate the things you love even more. Or maybe that wisdom is to have more balance. Or maybe it's something else. But allow your unconscious mind to extract the wisdom, the insights. Knowing all the information, I want you to think less about the past and more about the future. Allow your unconscious mind to be looking to extract wisdom like nuggets of gold surrounded by soil and pebbles. It's the wisdom that has the value. And wisdom is only useful if it changes the future decisions, future behavior, future priorities. And when you feel that you have extracted the value from what really happened, no witch hunt, no blame game, just extracting wisdom. When you've extracted that wisdom, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to feel that an open loop has now closed. No need to spend time in the past. You are now looking forward. What will you do with this new wisdom? What will you do to enrich the quality of your life? And what if the real wisdom isn't about Felix at all? The real wisdom is that you are worthy. The real wisdom is that just because something could have been different doesn't mean that you're to blame. No need for punishment, no need for guilt, just extracting wisdom, just gathering experience. And I want you to feel that the more experience you gather, the more formidable and aligned and balanced you become. I want you to imagine you're no longer there in that investigation room. I want you to imagine that you're going back in time to see someone that you truly admired and respected. Someone that was willing to learn from the past but not live in it. to see someone that was willing to evolve and refine their approach, but not punish themselves. They were more focused on moving forward. No need to be a martyr. No need to self-flagellate. I want you to see a person that would take their wins and learn their lessons, that they were focused on moving forward. And when you can see that person from your past, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine that this is an archetype. Someone with beliefs and strategies that may be useful for you. I want you to imagine stepping into their body and thinking about something recent that caused intrusive or ruminating thoughts. But think about that same thing from this perspective of this person that you admire deeply. Someone that would focus on the future, not dwell in the past. And through the lens of their perception, get a sense of how much more motivated, that rather than holding you back and tiring you out, the same situation could be a catalyst for more motivation, more focus, inspiration to do things differently. Because it isn't what happens, it's the meaning that you give the thing that happens. And some people will look at a thing that happens and take full blame and responsibility, even if there is none to be found, while others will look at the same thing and it will be a springboard into a more empowered future. I want you to feel that you have a choice. You can choose to continue your life where you're always at fault, always at blame, and need to punish yourself to have a sense of justice. Or you can go forwards where if you need to be responsible, you'll take ownership. But true ownership is not punishing yourself for the past. It's improving who you are in the future. And if this feels like a more desirable pathway, then allow your subconscious mind to activate all the neural pathways and beliefs necessary to feel that sometimes things just happen. Sometimes it just is what it is. Sometimes an investigation isn't even necessary. Onwards and upwards. Another day, another page. Keep moving forward. And if your unconscious is willing to lean into this way of thinking, that you can let go of all of that heaviness of your past, all of that blame and shame. Let that go and step into a new version of you. You're not being someone else. You're just being a version of you that is accountable, takes responsibility, but in doing so, pays things forward. You're focused on making changes into your future, not ruminating about the past. And if you're willing to step into that future, then let me know by nodding your head. That's it. No more witch hunts. No more blame games. You either win or you learn. The purpose of a ruminating thought is only to extract the wisdom, not to punish yourself, not to find blame, just to extract wisdom. And the moment you extract the wisdom and have an idea of how it will change the future, those open loops will close, and the need for any ruminating thought will melt away. I want you to imagine being back on that couch, Felix there on your lap, and I want you to say goodbye. That you will be grateful for the time you had together. But by saying goodbye, you are releasing yourself of the guilt and blame that was never yours to hold. Felix was never going to be an immortal cat. And therefore, you can be grateful for the time you had together, but with no need to punish yourself anymore. And as you say goodbye to Felix, hear the words from Felix. Felix is saying you don't need to be forgiven because you did nothing wrong. Hear that Felix wants you to be happy, and Felix wants you to have happy memories, not sad, and not blame. And then imagine seeing Felix hop off your lap and walk away. Maybe into a portal of glowing light, or maybe through an open door. Whatever comes into your mind is exactly how it should be. And allow the sadness to be the fertile ground in which gratitude will grow. It's now time to leave this place, but you leave with this new version of you, where your focus is now forward. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. That's it. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.